Hey guys, just took a nice little walk around the block. It's getting a little bit tired, sitting inside. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the lesson that you should be looking at today. It's called secondary and primary succession, right? So I want to kind of tell you the difference in case you're struggling with it or don't know it. Secondary succession is what happens when there is growth. So imagine a forest. And then imagine that forest burns down, right? So now the trees and all the growth that was there originally is no longer there. Eventually, what's going to happen? That earth, that soil is going to become fertile again, and things are going to grow. Plants are going to grow. Animals are going to come back, the whole thing. That secondary growth, after something was already there and it got destroyed, whether it be by man, whether it be by a natural incident like fire, and then something regrows in that area, that's called secondary succession, right? You can see that everywhere. I'm standing here in front of my house. Everything you see here is secondary succession. You see the grass here, right? If you imagine, I live on the side of a mountain. Before all these houses, all you had was trees. They cleared all this. They cut down, men cleared all of this. They cut all these trees down to make roads, right? And to make houses. But what happens when you leave areas without cement over them? What you see is you see growth again. You see this tree grew again. That tree wasn't necessarily original. Even when you get closer in and you look at the cracks here, right? You see the crack? That's secondary growth. Originally, it was something else. There was earth here. There was different types of plants here. And it was mowed down to make this sidewalk a very, very long time ago. My town is about 200 years old. And you see growth happening, right? So that's the point with secondary. Primary is a little bit harder to understand. So secondary growth, just to sum that up, is the growth after some sort of incident wiped out the original growth, right? The classic example is to think of that forest. Here's a forest, I see a forest, it gets burnt down, it gets leveled, but stuff starts to grow back. Secondary succession, right? Primary succession is different. Primary succession is the growth of plants in an area where there never was any before. Those areas are hard to find. I can't give you an example of primary succession in my front yard, right? I can't do that. But what I can do is give you a classic example. Imagine how islands were formed. Look at Hawaii, right? Hawaii is a volcanic island. There was a volcano under the water, and it was erupting, and it was erupting, and it was erupting. And as the lava hit the water, it cooled off. And eventually it cooled off into this big, huge lava rock mound the size of an island. And then, no growth on it, no nothing. It was bare, it was desolate. Then you have birds flying by, dropping seeds, you have wind, you have people bringing things to that area. Eventually, what's going to happen is plants are going to grow. A bird is going to drop a seed. The wind is going to bring something in. People are going to explore that island and bring with them things that either were attached to them or whatever the case may be. It's going to rain. You're going to have water, soil, and what's going to happen is there's going to be growth. That's primary succession. Growth where there never was any, ever. Volcano is a perfect example. Another perfect example is a glacier. Especially with especially with global warming, like we talked about a month ago, global warming is happening all over the planet, and the glaciers are actually receding, which means they're melting. And as they melt, the glaciers get shorter and shorter and shorter. And what that does is that exposes land that has never been exposed before. It's always been covered by ice, right? But now that things are warming up, it's exposing that land. Same thing's going to happen with that lava, like on the island. You're going to have animals flying by, you're going to have birds, the winds, you're going to have seeds being dropped, and over a long period of time, stuff is going to start to grow on that land that never had anything on it before. That's primary succession, all right? That's the difference between the two of them. Secondary succession, you can think of as secondary growth, right? Here's the fire in the forest, burns it all down, and here we go. You can see secondary growth everywhere. Again, right over here across the street, I have grass, right? They cut the grass at the church all the time. But if they don't cut it for a very long time, all these little flowers start to grow out. That's a secondary growth. They're plowing those down by cutting the grass in the summer, and then all of a sudden you see them coming back, right? So secondary growth, you have something, it gets destroyed somehow, and new things come back. Primary growth is when there was never anything before. It's a little bit tougher to understand, but if you think about the volcano at the island and you think about the glaciers receding, those are the two classic examples. Maybe you can give me another example of primary succession? Question mark, question mark. Leave it in the comments. Be safe, people. Don't drive yourselves crazy. Even if you got to get out. Look, I'm standing in front of my house. I'm walking back and forth. I'm getting a little bit of exercise. I'm talking to you guys. I'm looking at things, right? There was a really nasty car accident right there on this corner today. You see all the dirt? There was two trucks. One idiot ran right through that stop sign, and there was a guy making a left, and they crashed, and my kids got all scared, and it was an exciting day in that sense. But please, be safe. If you need anything, let me know. You're signing on. You're doing the work. You notice in the grade book, I put up another thing. I am going to chunk the work. So over 3 days, you've done 3 different things. I'm going to count that as a grade. And then I'll do 3 more days of work and count that as a grade. So I'll add them all up. If you have any questions, let me know. I will go live again, maybe not tonight, because my kids are all super hyper and really want to. So I'm going to back off that because I don't want to turn that into social hour. But it was fun last night. I'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, private comment me, comment under this. Tell your friends. If you want me to do something now that I'm mobile, now that I'm recording these videos mobile, you want me to go somewhere, you want me to do something, let me know. I want to keep you entertained and interested so you keep coming back. We can get this work done. You can graduate and I can get paid. I need to get paid. This car, the motorcycle in the garage, this house, it costs money. So I need to keep teaching. You need to keep working. We all need to get doing what we need to do. And take care of business, right, guys? Be safe. Be careful. I'll talk to you soon.